3 jobs. A couple of you, man, several of you, man. So you guys know, you can tell them, right? Don't do that. Because it's not even the jobs, guys. Sometimes, for me at least, it's not the jobs. Sometimes it's the bosses. I had 3 people that told me every day, they told me when to wake up. They told me when to go to lunch. They told me when I could go on a potty break. They told me when I could when I could go home to my family. They said, Brandon, you can go on vacation this many days a year. And this is the one that got me, guys. They said, Brandon, you're allowed to be sick 5 days this year. I said, well, isn't that nice? What the heck does that mean? You know, they called them sick days. I said, what is that? And I just began to realize that that plan was not for me. Okay? I began to realize that I had subscribed to an idea that the masses had subscribed to that I just wanted no part of. It seemed like indentured servitude to me, like high-paid slavery. And last time I checked, slavery was abolished a long time ago. But there's a lot of people that live in the free country that ain't free. And I began to realize that because I had some mentors that pointed some of these things out to me. People wake up at dark 30 to go sit in traffic, to go sit in a building, with manufactured air and light, to be around a bunch of people they don't want to be around, leaving their family at home or in daycare. It's a crazy concept, guys. You guys know that, and I don't want to get on a tangent here because this is my favorite topic, economic philosophy, but I do want to point this out. You guys know that working for someone else, this whole employee idea, do you guys know that that's a relatively new idea, historically speaking? It is not what our country was founded on. Do your own research. Look at history, okay? When you began to realize that at the turn of the 19th century, 90% of everyone was a business owner, 10% were employees, okay? And those employees were studying to one day own their own business. They were apprentices. Now, in less than 100 years, here's what happened. Systematically, that mindset was removed from our culture. The John Rockefellers come in, the Carnegies come in, the steel tycoons, the oil tycoons, America's first billionaires come in and they build these massive corporations. And what do? They say, we need employees. We need to find a way to crank out some worker bees, right? We need some drones. And so what do? John Rockefeller puts together a committee for an educational committee for our country. And guess who's the president of that committee? He is, right? And so he says, here's what we're going to do. We're going to dictate this, this, and this, and we're going to make sure that this system cranks out employees. So what do they teach me when I went to school? They say, go to school, get good grades, get a good what? Job. Good job. And you'll make it financially. Unfortunately, the Social Security Administration tells us that's not true. It's a bold-faced lie. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Do I have to sell you on that? Just look around you. Guys, if you're my age and you think you're going to get Social Security, you probably believe in the Easter Bunny too. That's fine. People say, invest in the stock market. Guys, I'd rather go to Vegas. If I'm gonna gamble that way, I'll roll the dice, whatever. Who cares? I believe in me. I bet on me. And so, here's what I began to realize, is that I had been sold a plan, and it was the only option given to me. My guidance counselor, he said, Brandon, you're good at math. Go work for that guy in that company. He didn't say, hey, Brandon, what type of multi-million-dollar global business would you like to own? Guys, I went to college, and I'm not knocking college. I get a bad rap sometimes. I just like to tell the truth. I don't like to sugarcoat it. Sometimes I get a bad rap about it. I don't have a disdain for education. In fact, I love education. The funny thing is, I love education more than all the kids that are going to college. They're going to college for the wrong reasons. You know why they're going to college? 99.9% of them? Because one, that's what they were told to do, but also because they think they're going to make more money, right? It's just not true. It's a bad gamble. But I love education for the right reasons. But I started out going for the wrong reasons because I was told I was supposed to and I thought I'd make more money. So I started out in college at Western Kentucky University, and these guys, they said, hey, you should go get a business degree. And I said, okay, sounds good. Sign me up, whatever. I'll give you 10, 20, 40 grand. Yeah, that's a great idea. And I'll go let these guys teach me some stuff. So I went to business college. And I met, right around that same time, I met some guys that were a little bit older than me, significantly older than me, actually. I was 18 years old. These guys were in their 60s. And they kind of grabbed me and said, listen here, Sonny, gave me the noogie. They said, look, we don't want to tell you what to think or how to think. We just want you to think, okay? We want you to think for yourself. And they gave me a challenge. They said, Brandon, go to your business college and ask the professors how many of them have ever owned a successful business. And guess what I did? I did it. I went and interviewed all the business professors there at that time. And guess how many have ever owned a successful business? She said it. 0. right? One guy had a business that could be qualified as successful, but he wasn't making enough money to not teach, obviously. And so, he hadn't made millions of dollars in his business. It wasn't that successful, but at least he had owned a business. But all the rest of them, they hadn't even owned a successful business, guys. And these guys that were coming to me, they were earning millions of dollars, and a lot of them were college dropouts, high school dropouts in some cases. And so I just began to change my mentality. You might write this down. This is one of my favorite quotes. I think it's a Brandon Hayes original. At least I claim it. If you want to have massive success in any endeavor in life, simply observe the masses and proceed to do the opposite. It's it. Why? Because what do most people not do? Succeed. It's simple. It's simple stuff, right? And so I knew that in order for me to be able to succeed in life, I had to do the opposite of what most people were doing. So around that same time, I saw network marketing. I saw an opportunity to partner with a company and earn my time back. I saw an opportunity to do something different than what the masses were doing and began to earn residual income. How many of you guys know what residual income is? I told you about it on the front end. I said that, I told my mom about this once. I continue to get paid over and over and over again. That's residual income. You do the work once, you do it right, you get paid forever. That's what wealthy people do. Wealthy people are not content to trade their time for money, at least not forever. They might start there, but they're not content to finish there. I knew I had to start working a job. I had 3 of them. I knew I had to start there, but I wasn't content to finish there. Everybody with me? Yeah. If you're born poor, like I was, if you're born poor, that's not your fault. Let me take that pressure off of you. It's not your fault if you're born poor. And poor meaning a bank account, okay? But if you die poor, that's a choice. Understand that. You are where you are and who you are right now based on the choices and decisions that you made up to this point. You will be in 5 years where you are and who you are based on the choices and decisions that you made up to that point. Isn't that empowering? Isn't it empowering to know that the next 5 years can be drastically different than the last? It's incredible, guys. When I understood that concept, when I stopped being a victim and I started waking up with gratitude instead of waking up with entitlement all the time, when I stopped blaming the economy and blaming my boss at work, and I began to realize that it's not the blowing of the wind that determines our life's future. It's the set of the sail, right? So I'm just challenging you to set a better sail in 2016, 17, 18 than you did in 15, 14, 13. Is that simple stuff, right? Success is not some cataclysmic event. It's not this big event. It's this small, tiny, insignificant, seemingly insignificant decisions that we make every single day and every single night. So success and failure are both the result of a collection of tiny, seemingly insignificant decisions that add up and compound over time. Everybody with me? All right, so I got started with Zija. Let's fast forward a little bit. Got started with Zija, saw this as a vehicle to help me get my family from where we were to where we wanted to be. Zija, I saw all the facts. I did my due diligence. This was not some haphazard thing where somebody called me and said, hey, we're going to get rich, and I just dove in. I looked at the facts, some of the things that I told you, and I'll tell you my 3 clues in a second, and we're done. But I looked at Zija. I got started. What's the key to getting ahead? You got to get started. You might be bad before you're good and good before you're great, but before all that, you got to what? Start. Yes, it's a start that stops most people, guys. People say, yeah, I should join that business, but. They say, yeah, I should join that business, but I don't have any money. They say, yeah, I should join that business, but I don't have any time. They say, I should join, I should. They end up shitting all over themselves and they don't get anything done, right? That's what most people do. We live in a society of shooters. And so I decided to be a doer instead. And so here's the deal. I got started. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. Am I right? Am I right? Right? So I got started. I knew I wasn't the best. I had no money. I had no time. I was a broke college kid. Broke. B-R-O-K, and he was on layaway. Okay? I was like below broke. Like looking up saying, man, I wish I could just be broke. I just want to pay the bills. More month at the end of the money, all that kind of stuff, right? And so I've been there, guys. And I didn't have any time. I already told you I was working 3 jobs, working 80 hours a week plus. And so I didn't have any time. And so I didn't have any experience. I was 23 years old, guys. I was just a young guy. Not a lot of experience. Didn't have any credibility. Nobody cared what I had to say about making money. Why? Because I had never made any. Nobody cared what I had to say about nutrition. Why? Because I wasn't an expert in nutrition. Everybody with me? So I from the outside looking in, there's not a whole lot going for me in terms of building a big business. But I found out it's not about me. It was about the system and the support. And I was willing to check my ego at the door. And I just went and I applied that success philosophy that I gave you on the front end. And you guys remember what it was? If you do what successful people do, and you say what successful people say, then you get what successful people get. Guys, you're God's highest form of creation. There's seeds of greatness in you, but you got to cultivate those seeds. Let me tell you something. God feeds the birds every morning, but He doesn't shove the worm down their throat. You with me? Okay, so I began to realize if I'm going to do something with this thing, I got to get to work. Got to put in some action, just like Jodie's done. Emerald in 12 weeks is crazy. She's taking action, and a lot of you guys in the room are too. And I know we're going to get to see you recognized today. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. 6 months in the business, knocking down an income, more money part-time with this business than I was full-time at my job. Did that take some effort? Yes, it did. Yes. Was I tired? Yes, I was. Was I making some small sacrifices? Yeah, of course I was. In order, more money and part-time was at my Zija business than I was full-time at my 3 jobs. Yeah, of course I was making some sacrifices. I turned off Dancing with the Stars and CSI, and I stopped watching the Monday Night Football. I decided I wanted to stop watching grown men live out their dreams on TV, while my dreams and my family's dreams were going down the tubes, literally. Right? And I just made that decision. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. You can live life any old way you choose. I'm telling you, life will give you what you'll accept. Life will give you whatever you'll accept. It'll also give you what you'll fight for. Okay? And so I wasn't willing to accept mediocrity. I wasn't willing to accept less than the best for my family. I wanted excellence for my family, and I'm going to fight for that until I'm 120 years old. And you say, Brandon, when does it stop? Never. Ever. You're either growing or you're dying. There is no in between. Okay? This isn't a training session, though, so I'm going to finish up the presentation. So I get hyped up, man. My dad was a Southern Baptist minister. Can you guys hear that come out sometimes? I apologize for that. That stuff's crazy. But I have fun with this. I hope I am 120 years old just preaching this stuff still. Why? Because we got a mission. We got something special. This ain't pots and pans, guys. Your mama's makeup. This ain't, nothing wrong with those. You can make millions of dollars like she did, selling your mama's makeup. But that ain't what this is. Okay, we got something special and unique. All right, so 18 months, I was knocking down 6 figures. I was able to walk away from corporate America at age 24. And at that point, my life was completely different. I had earned my freedom. Guys, I didn't do this because I wanted a pile of money sitting in my living room. You know why I did this? I did this stinking thing because I wanted that young lady right there to never have to work a job. I did this because we don't even have kiddos yet. I'm getting cold chills just thinking about it. We didn't even have kids yet. Think about the vision this takes. I talked about vision on the front end. She's got it. Ken's got it. Some of you guys got it. Helen Keller said the worst thing in the world is for somebody to have sight but no vision. Man, you could stay up all night and not think of something that good. Right? But you got to have vision, guys, and I had a little bit of vision. It took a vision at a young age to not even be married yet, not have any kids, but know that one day I would be. So when all my friends were out partying and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Nothing wrong with that stuff. I'm just saying, do what you do. You can live life however you want to live it. But I'm just telling you, I wanted something different than what the masses had. I wanted her to never have to work a job. Guess what? She'll never work a job a day in her life. Right? Wow. We don't even have kids yet, guys. But I know one day we will have kids. And I don't know what that'll look like, but I can tell you one thing. They won't be raised in a daycare by somebody else. They'll be raised by us. If they want to learn French, guess what? We'll go to France for a couple of months and let them learn French. Right? Is everybody with me? Yes. I didn't do this because I wanted a Lamborghini and a $1 million home. Those are nice things. And if that's your hot button, that's great. I did this because I wanted to be free. I wanted to wake up with my eyes open instead of to an alarm clock. Guys, I haven't had an alarm clock other than on days like today when I have to get up a little bit early. I haven't had an alarm clock where I have to wake up. But see, I'm not getting paid for this. Does that make sense? So it's different. People say, Brandon, I love what I do. I say, great, good for you. Let me help you out. You don't love what you do. You love your kids. You love your wife. You love your family. You love your church. You love the causes that you're passionate about. You might like what you do, and that's okay, but you've sold yourself, but you've justified why you wake up at 0:30 every day. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. You just got to be honest with yourself. Right? You don't love your job, you love your kids. You love your spouse. Okay? So don't mistake the two. Lori Doolin's a nurse practitioner, Lori Wilson now. She's a nurse practitioner. She loves helping people. Is that okay to say? Of course it is. She loves helping people. She went to school for a long time. She should be proud of that. And she gets to help people as a nurse. But guess what she doesn't love? She doesn't love spending 60 hours a week away from her husband. So what did she do? She went out in this thing and went diamond. So guess what? Now, because she truly loves it, she can do it for free. So if you love what you do, then do it for free. Right? If you love what you do, go to your boss this Monday and tell him, hey, I don't want a paycheck anymore. Just send it to Brandon Hayes at Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, 32459. And so just send me the paycheck. All right. So I'm having a little bit of fun here, but this is serious stuff, guys. Life. We only get one shot. You don't get two. You get one. And I don't care if you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 100 years old. I don't care how old you are. The time to take action is when? Now. Right? Because life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by choice. Choices. Decisions determine destiny, guys. And you have a choice today. You have a choice to say, you know what, that little kid, I don't know what he was saying. He was crazy, hopping around all over the place. I don't remember anything he said. But you know what? He was excited, and I believe him. You can do that, or you can say, he don't know what he's talking about. And you can walk out of here, and you can be just like the rest of the masses that that walk away from an opportunity. And they say a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity comes around twice in your life if you're lucky. If this is the second time that you've walked away from one, I pray to God, I hope it's not. Right? And so, real quick, age 24, I walked away from corporate America, was able to get myself out of the corporate pyramid scheme, and you know, I never looked back. And so. I hopped on a plane, flew to Puerto Rico, spent about 8 days hopping around from island to island. And that was a celebration for me because I was celebrating the fact that I was free. I was able to get myself out of that system that I was longing to get myself out of. And now life is very different. You know, we were living in Kentucky. We moved down to Florida, got a little house on the beach up in the Panhandle, and we love it. You know, our neighbors are like 90 years old, you know, which is fine. And some of them still have jobs. It blows my mind. It's crazy. And they think, you know what they think about me? They see us like I'm sitting out in my garage like with my headphones in, you know, in a little beach chair. And we got the Benz and the Beamer in the driveway, and they you know, they're driving away to work in the morning. I'm just sitting there, you know, listening to a call or listening to some personal development or whatever, and they're thinking, man, that kid's probably you know, a trust fund baby. You know, they think I probably like had $1 million in the bank when I was born. What they don't know is my dad was a Southern Baptist minister, and he sure didn't do that to be rich, right? And so we didn't have no money. I was not a trust fund baby, right? And then if they don't think that, they probably think I'm a. Well, actually, shout it out. What do most people probably think I'm? Drug dealer. Oh. Drug dealer. I'm kidding. No matter where, but you know, this is a good point to pause for a second. No matter where I go, whether it's Australia or California or Florida or Kentucky, doesn't matter. When I ask that, what do people say? They say drug dealer. Now let me point something out real quick. Why do people say that? Why do they not say model? Well, obviously because I'm not. But why do they say drug dealer? Why? Here's why. Because we were taught from the moment we were born that money is what? Bad. It's evil. Right? We were taught to run from money. And let me tell you something. If you don't flip your mentality, you don't flip the lot on your mentality when it comes to money. If you're constantly thinking money's bad, you know, you think you place an inherent moral value on money instead of understanding that it's a tool and it amplifies who you are. So if you're a good person, what do you do with more money? Good stuff, right? If you're bad, what do you do with more money? Bad stuff. So if you're bad, we're going to find out. We ain't going to help you make no money, right? So, I'm kidding. You'll weed yourself out anyway. All right. So real quick, I'm going to close down with my 3 clues. So here's what's happened for me and my wife. It's put us in a position to have choices, options, and freedoms that we would not have had otherwise if we would have kept working a job and working for somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that path. I just want to give you the rules of the game. I want to help you understand that if you want to win in life, you got to know the rules of the game. Okay, and so that's all I can provide for you from my perspective is share with you my story and what's happened for me and my wife and our family, our future family. So I'm going to talk real quick. 3 clues. How many clues? 3. This is easy. All the stuff I said before, you can forget it. I hope you took notes. If you didn't, that's fine. But these 3 things I don't want you to forget. So number 1 clue is moringa. Everybody say it with me. Moringa. Moringa is the most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered. No matter where I go, I always do this exercise. And so please participate with me because remember, if you don't, I'll have to start over. And so I won't do that. So moringa is the most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered. Now, if I were to present that to you as an idea, most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered, and I could prove it. I could back it up with real, you know, verified evidence. I could give you peer-reviewed medical journals, all that stuff, and prove it that it's not up for debate, it's not up for discussion. It is, in fact, the most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered. If I could prove that, who in here thinks that's probably a good idea to consume on a daily basis? Do I have to convince you? Right? Do I have to sell you? Do I have to twist your arm? Do I have to drag you into something? I already told you I'm not going to do that, right? Here's what you have when you hear that statement. You have a choice. You can say, most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered. You can say, that's a good idea. Or you can say, that's not a good idea. You know, if you say that, I'm going to question your intelligence a little bit, right? Either you weren't listening or, you know, you haven't turned your brain on this morning yet. That's fine. You know, lots of people don't take the time to think. I can't tell you what to think or how to think. I don't want to do that. I have no interest in convincing you of something. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion. Still, I have no interest in dragging people into this. I have every interest in helping meet people logically. I'm not the hype guy. I'm not the guy that's going to hype you up and try to sell you on something. I'm the guy that wants to meet you here and help you understand that this is a no-brainer. Even in Kentucky, they call it a no-brainer, right? They don't even wear shoes. And they know the most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered is not rocket science, okay? This is simple stuff. I'm trying to meet you here, okay? All right, so that's clue number 1. Clue number 1 is what? Moringa. Clue number 2, and I already talked a little bit about him, Ken Brailsford. Here's what you need to know about Ken. So from a product standpoint, I said, you know what? I want moringa in my body. I want moringa in the body of everyone that I care about. This is not some magic bush, magic beans, or berries. This is the most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered, and that's a no-brainer. Of course, I want that in their bodies, okay? So the second clue, from a business standpoint, this is the primary reason I joined this company. All right? I'm going to give it to you. Ken Brailsford. Now, what do winners do?
Win.
They win. If you want to win in business, you want to win in life, who do you attach yourself to?
Winners.
Winners, right? Winners win on a muddy field, and losers lose even in the best of conditions. This gentleman is a winner. Ken Brailsford is the only person who's ever built and sustained 2 other multi-hundred-million-dollar companies that still exist today. He's an icon. When you think of basketball, who do you think of? Michael Jordan. When you think of golf, who do you think of? Tiger Woods. When you think of TV, maybe you think of like an Oprah. Some icons, people that have dramatically impacted their respective industry. Everybody with me? It's simple stuff. When you think of the health and wellness industry and network marketing specifically, you think of Ken Brailsford because he's the only person that's ever impacted the industry the way that he has. Okay? Now, that's important. That was important for me. Track record of success. I wanted to know I was attaching myself to the right people. But here's the other deal. He's a billionaire with a B. So B, illionaire, right? Now, why is that important? You might be thinking, oh, who cares? He's a billionaire. And that's that programming that's coming back from your childhood saying money's bad. So get off your high horse and forget about that nonsense. So here's the deal. He's a billionaire. Why is it important when it comes to business? It's important because why do most businesses fail? Lack of money. They run out of money. They might have a good product, good service, good comp plan. Doesn't matter if they run out of money. That's what most companies do. 98% of them, in fact, they fail because of a lack of money. And so I knew that we wouldn't have to worry about that. I knew that we could navigate the ebbs and flows of business that all businesses go through because Ken had the money. We have a 120,000 square foot pharmaceutical grade manufacturing facility paid for, debt free. Who's doing that? Nobody, guys. Guys, Ken does not borrow money from banks. Banks borrow money from Ken, right? The guy's got the money. Now, he didn't need, here's another reason why that's important to me as someone looking at this business to partner with this company. I knew that Ken did not need the money to start this business, okay? Everybody with me? Yeah. He was off doing his faith thing. He was off doing mission work. Okay? He was retired, billionaire with a B. He saw something special in moringa, decided to create a product to bring it to the Western culture and help some of us. But here's the deal, he didn't need the money. Now let me tell you what I mean by that. Most CEOs of companies, they start companies like this. Guys, you and I, we could start one in your basement tonight. We could start a company tonight, right? We can chop up some moringa leaves and sell them on Amazon, do whatever you want to do, you know? But this is not some young kid chopping up moringa leaves, selling them on Amazon. This is not some young kid that walked down the street one day and said, hey, I think I'll start a nutritional company. This is a billionaire with a B, the guy that's only ever built 2 other companies, now 3 that still exist today that have become legacy companies, and he didn't need the money to start the company. Here's what I mean by that. Most CEOs of companies, most founders of companies, they're using the profits of the company to put food on their table. Does that make sense? That's a scary situation to be in, okay? Here's why. Because those people are who's going to come first, their family or you? Their family. He didn't need the money to feed his family. Everybody with me? All right, so that's clue number 2, Ken Brailsford. Clue number 3, and I'm done. Clue number 2 is what?
Ken Brailsford.
Ken Brailsford. Clue number 3 is Dr. Joshua Plant. I just like to always throw this one out here because I don't like to tell people what to think or how to think. I just like to get them to what? Think. I just want you to think. Okay? Dr. Josh Plant graduated from a school you've probably heard of called Harvard Medical School. Okay? That's impressive enough. Everybody say that's impressive. That's impressive. It's a big deal. So he graduated first in his class from Harvard Medical School. He did it in 3.5 years. Guys, that's a 7-year program at minimum. Now, if it were me, it would take like 16 years, I think, or something like that. You know, I drove by Harvard once, and they said, get the heck out of here. They wouldn't even let me come on the premises. But he graduated, you know, summa cum laude or whatever, and I just, you know, I didn't even graduate. I was just graduating to help me laude, you know. I mean, I was just trying to get out of there, and I didn't even make it. But Josh graduated first in his class from Harvard Medical School. He did it with 3 kids. Guys, how many of you guys have 3 kids? Or have had, you know, or grandkids, whatever. Guys, most people that have 3 kids can't put their pants on straight in the morning. And this guy's graduating first in his class from Harvard Medical School. Now, I paint that picture because it begs a question in my mind, a logical question that I'm going to pose to you. And I'm sure it begs this question in your mind. If it doesn't, it is now. So where in the world could Dr. Joshua Plant have chosen to work? Anywhere. in the universe. He could have hopped on a spaceship, traveled to Mars, knocked on the Martian door, said, hey, here's my resume, Josh Plant, graduated first in my class, Harvard Medical School, 3.5 years. They'd have said, come on in, we'll pay you $1 million Martian dollars, or whatever they pay up there. Here's the deal. He could have worked anywhere. Now, where did Josh Plant choose to plant his flag, take his talents, and go to work? Zija International. My friends, can I call you friends?
Yes.
That is what we call a clue. Success leaves clues, and I don't like to tell people what to think or how to think. I just like to get them to slow down and think, okay? Now, we've got something special, we've got something unique, and the choice is up to you whether or not that makes sense to you. And if it does, I'm boldly, unapologetically telling you to get started. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. And here's how I can do that, because I'm certain and I'm confident about where we're headed. This is not some flash in the pan. This is not some here today, gone tomorrow. Guys, this is not a leap of faith for you. Let me help you out. This is logic, okay? I'm appealing to your logic. This is not a leap of faith for you. This is on purpose. This is calculated. This is intentional. This is chess, okay? They say you can often predict the future by looking at the what? By the past. Ken's done this, guys. He knows what he's doing. We've done this all over the world. We know what we're doing. We're going to continue to do it here in this market, multiple markets all over the world. So just understand that we're boldly, unapologetically telling you to get started. You get 3 things when you get started. Well, you get a lot of things when you get started today. You're going to get some incredible products. We can talk about the packages. I don't know when we're going to do that, Jody, but we can talk about the packages if we need to. But you're going to get lots of great stuff. So you're going to get incredible products. Most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered. That's just one of our products. You all agree that's a good idea.
Yes.
But here's the deal. You're going to get great products. They're going to impact you. You're going to see great results. You're going to be able to share it with people you care about. They're going to see great results. And you're going to get a great compensation plan. And it's going to pay you based on results. Now, if you don't want to participate in that, that's fine. Just send your check to me. I don't care. Whatever. I'll take all the money you don't want. Because I know that money makes more of who I am. It allows me to help more people. It's a tool. Okay. So, but if you don't want the paycheck, that's fine. But you're going to get a comp plan. You can participate however you want, and it's going to pay you based on results, based on productivity. Isn't that good? Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't that good to be able to be incentivized to share something good with people?
Yes.
Okay? So you're going to get great product, great comp plan. But at the end of the day, here's what you really get. And you're probably going to laugh when I say that. You get me, right? And you get Jody, and you get Wayne, and you get Joe and Lila, and you get all these leaders, guys. You get Greg Bibb, who you're going to hear from in just a few minutes. You get people that know what the heck they're doing. Guys, you can have the right product, the right comp plan. You can have all these things in place, but if you don't have the right people with the right philosophy, none of it matters. You're never going to cross the finish line. Here's what you're partnered with. Winners. And what do winners do? Win. This is not a leap of faith for you. The only question you have to ask yourself is, am I? Am I coachable? Am I teachable? Can I plug into a simple, duplicatable, proven system? Am I? Am I willing to check my ego at the door and understand that these guys know what they're doing, and if they're going to coach me and lead me and give me some simple steps, and am I willing to plug into the support? And if you're willing to do those 2 things, then I'm telling you, the next 2 years can be drastically different than the last 2. And how can I say that? Because it happened for me. And who am I? I'm a snot-nosed kid from Nowheresville, Kentucky. Knew nothing about nothing, making payments on everything. Okay? And so if I can do it, you can too. And so with that, I'm going to run through the packages real quick. There's 3 ways to get started. I'm going to keep this simple for you. So if you're taking notes, if you're a guest, there's 3 ways to get started. I'm going to give you the best way first, the way that I got started. Even as a broke guy, no money, I was able to find a way to get started with the biggest kit that Zija offers. Here's why. Because it's $1,300. Guys, this is even as a broke guy, you know what? I can remember vividly trying to decide which package I wanted. I was sitting on my couch in my 900 square foot Cracker Jack house that I lived in. And I was, on Hospital Hill in the town that I'm from. And I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting on my couch, and across from me on the wall is what?
TV.
Somebody shout it.
TV.
Big screen TV. I'm sitting on my couch. Across from me is a big screen TV. And I'm trying to decide which package. I've already made up my mind. I said, you know what? Most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered, Ken Brailsford, all this stuff, it makes sense. I'm in. This is the vehicle going to get me to where I want to go. Which package am I going to get started with? So I'm trying to decide, and I'm looking at this TV, and I'm thinking, well, I found a way to get that TV. The TV is not bringing money into my household, right? It's not changing my family's future. It's not creating the right destiny for my family. But I found a way to get that TV. Why? Because I wanted it. right? If you want it, you'll find a way. If not, if you don't want it, you'll find an excuse.
That's right.
See, I understood that this was the thing. This was the vehicle that was going to get my family where I wanted to go, and I wanted to get started the best way possible. And so even though I didn't have the money, I said, you know what? I found a way to get that TV. It's crazy. Broke guy watching TV. You know, who thought that was a good idea? Anyway, you guys know what the other acronym for TV? It's EIR. You might know what that stands for? Electronic income reducer. At least that's what it was for me, you know. And so anyway, the biggest kit you can get started with, it costs less than the cost of my big screen TV hanging at home. And maybe that's the case for you, maybe it's not, but I bet you have a smartphone. I've got one right here in my coat pocket, smartphone, which is about $600-ish, about the cost of our middle package. And I've got, $300, that we'll spend that just coming here to visit you guys. We'll spend $300 on just going out to eat to dinner and all that kind of stuff. So most of you guys understand that to start a business, you can't walk down to City Hall, you can't get the applications and fees and business licenses and all those things for less than $1,300. Smoke and mirrors, just to be allowed to even talk about opening a business. I worked in the restaurant industry as one of my primary jobs, and they put up like $1 million just to start the deal, just to be allowed to serve food for the equipment and the building and all those things that come along. Then they got employees, otherwise known as headaches, right? Or adult daycare, or whatever. And then they got, when the refrigerator breaks down, guess what? Who's got to fix it? They do. When somebody breaks in at 2 a.m., guess who's got to show up? They do. And it costs them millions of dollars to even start. Guys, this is $1,300, and it's not smoke and mirrors. You get product for it. Right, so pick the products you want to get started with, and I encourage you to get started with a $1,300 kit if it's at all possible, and I know it's possible because I did it and I didn't have any money. So I borrowed it from a friend. You know what his name was? MasterCard. And so understand, this is America, guys. This is not a third world country. There's no dictator, at least not yet, telling you, what you can or cannot do. All right. So people come over here from other countries. Guys, they float over here on leaky boats and climb over broken glass and nails just to get here. And then they say Americans are poor. How is that possible? They say there's gold in the streets and Americans won't bend over to pick it up. And then they go out and crush us. Why? Because they're willing to be creative. Our country was not founded on going to work for somebody else. You know what it was founded on? Creativity, ingenuity. Wake up with gratitude, start there instead of entitlement, and begin to realize that the day is yours, right? Success happens daily, not in a day. And so I have exercises that I help people come up with the money to get started. If the money's an obstacle, if it's not, get started with the best kit. Here's why. Mo money, mo better. Everybody write that down. Mo money, mo better. Because you get started with the biggest kit, you maximize the compensation plan. Simple as that, okay? You get the most product, you get enough product for you and enough to share with some other people, okay? So you've probably already been thinking about people that have all these issues, right? They need to lose weight, they lack energy, they like to work out, all these different things. You've already been thinking of these people. So you need enough product for you and your family and enough to share with some other people. That's the best way to do it with the big kit. You can do tri-divisional, means you can try all 3 divisions of our product to see what products work best for you and for your network of people, okay? Remember, it's not always about you, it's about everybody else, right? So don't just think about me, think about everybody else. All right. So the 1320 kit, 660 is half of 1320. Everybody say half. Half of 1320. So that gives you half as much product, and it gives you half as much benefit in terms of the compensation plan. So you're able to double some bonuses and capitalize on some of the bonuses that are in our comp plan, but just not all of them, okay? So just know that you're leaving a little bit of money on the table if you do the 660, but it's okay. Get in where you fit in. Do what's best for you. I just enrolled a guy last night on the 660 kit because he said, you know what, 1320 is just, timing's not good. I said, well, if it's between you waiting 2 weeks and getting started with the 1320, or you getting started now with the 660, what I tell him to do? Now. Tell him to get started now. All right, so 330 is half of 660, okay? So you get half as much product. You don't maximize the comp plan, you don't get the extra bonuses, but you know what? It gets you in. I call this kind of the motivated customer package. So if you want to get some good bonus in terms of, extra products, bigger bang for your buck, you want enough for you and enough to share with some other people, this is the package to get. It's going to allow you to do that, kind of stick one toe in. Now, of course, I don't recommend that. I recommend getting all in mentally, and I recommend diving in head first like I did. Once you know that this is the real deal and you make that mental switch, that mental flip, then dive in. Figure it out, get started however, whatever works best for you, but get in where you fit in. This is a get in where you fit in company. We don't drag people kicking and screaming. We don't push and shove. We meet people where they're at. I don't impose my dreams and goals onto you. All I can do is hopefully inspire you a little. But I don't want you to be a Brandon Hayes. I want you to be the best version of you. And so we just meet people where they're at. We love on them, and we help them get started however you want to get started, and then we're going to help you accomplish whatever your goals are. 3 questions, and I'm done, and I'll turn it back over to Jody. Number 1 is this. If not Zija, then what? What are you going to do? And maybe you're thinking this whole time, you're thinking, Brandon, I wish you'd shut up because I got a better plan than this. And if you do, go do it. That's all I'm saying. Go do it. Guys, you're either growing or you're dying. You might think you're ho-humming it through life and getting by. Let me tell you something, you're not. It'll catch up with you, whether it's your health, your finances, or whatever it is. It will catch up with you. You can live life any old way that you choose, but don't get psyched out. Don't psych yourself out and think you're just getting by. You're not. We see it in nature. We see it all around us, all over the world. You're growing or you're dying. There is no in between. There is no static. So you better choose growth if you don't want the alternative, right? So if not Zija, then what? If you got a better plan, great, go do it. But just don't think that you're ho-humming and getting by. Okay. Number 2 is this. So if not Zija, then what? Number 2 is this. If not now, then when? When is a good time to take control of your health?
No.
With the most nutrient-rich plant ever discovered. When's a good time to take control of your financial future? Now, right? When's a good time for all of these things to happen? It's right now. Now o'clock. Now 30. Guys, there is no tomorrow. Tomorrow is an enigma. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Think about the word itself. Every time you say it, it's talking about when? The future. You're always chasing it. Tomorrow will elude you. Hoping for a future without investing in today is like a farmer hoping for a harvest without ever planting any seeds. Doesn't make sense. See, in this world, in this planet that we live in, you got to deposit before you can withdraw. You got to put in before you can get out. My generation, especially, and you know, people my age, especially, they want crock pot results with microwave efforts. Guys, that's not how this world works. If not now, then when? When are you going to do it? I'm not telling you what to think or how to think. I'm just suggesting that now is the best time to take action on those things, because tomorrow never comes. The 3rd question is this, and I'm done. If not you, and this is the big one, Jody. If not you, then who? See, I began to realize, thankfully, because I had some people that cared enough to tell me, I began to realize that nobody was going to do it for me. See, the government couldn't. How many of you guys figured out the government can't do it for you? They can't figure this stuff out. My goodness. Right? Don't rely on them. That's a slow road to China. You know what I mean? So, the government can't do it. I mean, my boss at work couldn't do it. My friends and family, no matter how much they love me, but they couldn't do it for me. They had their own problems and issues, right? I realized if it's to be, it's up to me. I had to do it, right? I knew I was going to work until I died unless I did something about it. I knew my family was going to work until they died unless I did something about it. And so I had to take action, and I saw this is the vehicle to do it, and I knew that now was the time. So if not you, then who? There's a gentleman that he was living in a valley, and he was an old farmer. He lived in a valley, and you guys might have heard this story before. My dad used to tell it. I'm going to end with this. How many of you guys, your dad was your hero? Or is your hero? Me too. Man, my dad was my hero, right? He passed away when I was 19 years old. You know what he told me, though, before he died? He told me a lot, but one of the things he used to do is he used to speak life into me. He used to speak, the word inspire, if you look at the word, the Latin inspire means to breathe. And so when you inspire someone, what it means is you breathe in. My dad inspired me, right? He said, Brandon, you're going to be a leader one day. And I didn't even know it. He just made me believe it, right? And so what did I do? What did my mind start doing? I started seeking after ways to become a leader subconsciously. I didn't even realize I was doing it, right? And so anyway, he used to share this story all the time. He said there's a man that lived in a valley, so mountains on both sides, and this valley would flood all the time. And so this guy, one of the worst, most torrential floods of the history of that area had come, and the waters were starting to rise, so much so that the water had risen to the level of his deck. He had this little wraparound porch, and so the waters had risen that high. And so this boat comes by. That's how high the water is. The boat comes by. He's sitting out on the porch, and these guys, 2 guys in the boat, they say, hey, listen, man, you better get in the boat. We're evacuating the area. Everybody else has already left, so get in the boat. We'll take you to land. We'll take you to safety. He says, nope, don't worry about it, guys. I've been praying. God's going to take care of me. And so the boat leaves. They're saying, whatever, man, you're crazy. But the boat leaves. The water continues to rise, so much so that he has to climb to the 2nd story. Everybody with me? So he's climbing. The water's that high. He climbed to the 2nd story. He looks out the little window there, and the water's like flush with the window. He can touch it on the 2nd story. Same boat drives by about the time that he's looking to see how high the water is. Same boat drives by. 2 guys in the boat. Same 2 guys. And they say, listen, man, get in the boat. This is your, we're evacuating this place. Everybody's already gone. You're the only one left. you're going to die if you don't, you're going to drown. This water's coming, it's going to keep rising. You know what he said? He said, guys, I've been praying. God's going to take care of me. I've got faith. Fervently praying, all right? And he was a man of faith. They said, whatever. So they leave, the boat leaves. And then the water continues to rise. He has to climb up on top of the roof, and he's like hanging onto the chimney. And, the water's all around him. He's on the roof. And then out of the sky comes this helicopter. And they drop down a rope ladder. And they have this bit, what are those things called? The
megaphone.
Yeah, megaphone. They say, grab the rope. If you don't, you're going to drown. He looks up. He says, guys, thank you. But I've been praying. I got faith. God's going to take care of me. And the helicopter leaves. Of course, you know the end of the story. The water continues to rise. The guy drowns. He goes to heaven, thankfully. He got that part settled. He goes to heaven, and he beelines it straight for God. And he says, God, why did you let me die? Why did you let me drown? You promised to never leave me nor forsake me. You promised that you'd take care of me. You promised you'd be my sustenance. You promised if I had faith, everything would work out okay. And he said, why did you let me die? Why did you let me drown? And what did God say? He said, I sent you 2 boats and a stinking helicopter, and you didn't get in a single one of them. Guys, this was my boat. And maybe it is for you, maybe it's not. Maybe you have a better plan. But I'm suggesting if you don't, that this is it. And I am boldly, unapologetically, not asking, but telling you to get started in some capacity, whatever that means for you. Customer, big business, or everything in between. And somebody is going to help you hit your goals. And we're going to do it. We're going to start today. You with me?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to turn it back over to Jody. Thank you so much for having me. Everybody give me